Good evening, everybody. I needed to do a Maxime Bernier story today. I did everybody else, except for Justin Trudeau, whose Halloween costume was searching for a clue, looking for a clue. And I'm not going to show a picture of him because he's awful. So Maxime Bernier is tweeting, and he has claimed 30,000 founding members. Quote, Maxime Bernier's People's Party claims 30,000 founding members, CBC News, and there's a link to the article. And I'm including the article, and the link will be in the description. And I'll actually put it in the description because I forgot to put the last link in the description. Whoops, it's fixed now. Check it out. And please do go watch the whole last thing, the presser, the whole thing for yourself. It's very interesting. It's worth the watch. It's worth the time. It's our country. Okay, so here's the CBC article. Maxime Bernier's People's Party claims 30,000 founding members, quote. And if you can't slant the news in a way that you want, I mean, well, we wouldn't be reading Canadian news, would we? So they're trying to make this sound bad, but it's not bad. That's a respectable amount for 6 weeks of party, having a party, and not even really having a party. It's like August was the split. Like he quit the Conservative Party and was an independent for 10 seconds and then started the People's Party. So, that's not bad. It's not bad. It's not 100,000, but it's not bad. So CBC goes with, will be incredulous about the number, right? So I think it's kind of funny. So here's CBC's angle on this. Quote, there's no way to verify these numbers. Other parties generally don't release the total size of their membership, but in 2017, about 259,000 members were eligible to vote in the Conservative leadership race, while 124,000 were eligible to vote in the NDP contest that selected Jagmeet Singh. So like in the same sentence, they contradict. Like most parties don't tell you how big their membership is. But in 2017, 250, like, come on. I think that's really funny. Broken down by province. And this is the reason why I included it. I'm not going to read out all the numbers, but all the numbers are there. And it says basically the numbers provided by the People's Party suggest Bernier has been able to spread his appeal evenly across the country. And it gives numbers from Quebec to Ontario to Alberta, British Columbia, and so on. So I found that interesting. Link is in the description. People's Party, and this is the end of their membership blitz, tweeted out, quote, after yesterday's final blitz, the People's Party of Canada has 31,549 founding members. Thank you to all these Canadians who are making history. So, I mean, good. Again, no way to verify, but who cares what CBC says? Certainly not me. And I said before on the climate change thing, they're going to do exactly the same thing to him on climate change that they were trying to do with the white supremacy, radical stuff, like trying to corner him into a position. And here's how you walk a tightrope. So here's the National Post tweeting, and Maxime Bernier retweeted this. Quote, Maxime Bernier believes in climate change, but defends his argument that CO2 is just food for plants. National Post, and it's a National Post link. So we're going to read how you walk a tightrope. Oh, Mr. Harper, we miss you. We'll get to you in a minute. But this is how you walk a tightrope with regards to a press that is looking to print negative stories about you. Even if you walk the tightrope, they're going to print negative stories about you. This is framed in negative light. Like Maxime Bernier believes in climate change, but defends argument that of course CO2 is just food for plants. Of course it is. Yes, that is an undeniable fact. Okay, so I'm selectively reading from the article. So, quote, in an interview with the National Post, the leader of the fledgling People's Party of Canada lamented the way some people interpret his recent statements on Twitter that CO2 is food for plants, not pollution, to mean he's a climate change denier. Quote, I believe in climate change, he said. Asked if critics are not taking him literally enough on such statements, Bernier said yes. PPC spokesman Martin Massey explained, however, that Bernier doesn't want to proclaim any opinions on its causes. Quote, Mr. Bernier recognizes that CO2 can have an effect on climate change. He also recognizes that the majority of scientists believe that human activity is already having a negative impact on climate change, although a minority still believe this is not the case. As a non-scientist, he doesn't have an opinion on this, Mass said in a statement. Quote, the PPC's focus is not on debating the science, but on the measures that should be taken to lower the consumption of carbon energy. No government's policy that is now being debated, certainly not the government's carbon tax, is likely to have any effect on global climate change. In the interview, Bernier said he will propose no specific climate change policy as part of the platform for his new party, which has yet to be formally registered by Elections Canada. He said his broader economic policies, including flat lower tax rates for business, would allow private sector to find solutions. And I think that is as much of a policy as Trump has, and it seems pretty popular south of the border so far. Going down to near the bottom of the article, and I'm including this just because, well, I'll explain in just a minute. This is Bernier speaking about the electric car. Quote, the electric car, it's not the government saying, oh, we must have electric cars. The market was ready for that. People were ready for that. And so we have electric cars. The free market, the people will find solutions as they always did in the past. Every one of Bernier's federal competitors have struck a different tone. The Conservative Party is expected to reveal a climate policy that offers an alternative to the Liberals' carbon pricing program and to the more aggressive policies proposed by the NDP and Green Party. So they say, even though the Conservative Party has no plan and has no public policy at this point in time that I am aware of, other than Mr. Scheer saying we're going to meet our Paris Accord agreements. Other than that, the CPC has not released anything. The National Post is saying that every one of Bernier's federal competitors have struck a different tone, despite the fact that the CPC has not said anything other than we'll meet the Paris climate agreements. And Bernier is saying I'm going to use the free market, just like the U.S. did, and they just had a downtick in their CO2 emissions. So isn't that interesting? What the U.S. did is actually working, and Bernier is suggesting following that trend, freeing up the free market to do its job. And the National Post is suggesting that everybody else is saying something different than Bernier, despite the fact that they are not. So, take that for what it is. And it goes on to say that Tories seem confident that voters who oppose the Liberals' carbon tax won't vote for Bernier's PPC for fear of splitting the vote on the right side of the political spectrum. If you're voting on the carbon tax, you're not going to vote for Maxime Bernier, said a senior Conservative source said. So, if you're confused or uncertain about the media's push, that's the direction they're pushing you in. So it should give you pause. Think about that. The media really wants you to vote Conservative. Well, at least the National Post does. So is that just allegiance? Is that, who knows what that is? Is that inappropriate for the press? Yes. Yes, it is. Well, could be. I'm not going to break down this interview. I thought it was good. I will echo some... I thought it was a good interview overall. Maxime Bernier talks a lot about his usual talking points, and he goes over them over and over. And it's, if you don't know a lot about Maxime Bernier, it's a good introductory interview. He hits a lot of his major talking points. I haven't got all the way through the interview yet. I just saw it like half an hour ago, and I just haven't had time. But it's worthwhile. And let's revisit this moment where we were told exactly what Justin would do. We were told he just was not ready, and still we didn't listen. But we're going to get told one more time. Let's go back in time, everyone, to the 2015 election. Oh.
These guys would have had, in the last 2 weeks, us throwing open our borders and literally hundreds of thousands of people coming without any kind of security check or documentation.
And that's
some other
not
countries
true,
have
Mr.
done.
Harper.
That would have been an enormous mistake.
See,
we're following a balanced approach. We're bringing more refugees.
Fears all the time.
We're providing
fears
more
of
humanitarian
others,
support.
fears of different communities.
And we're taking
we have a prime minister who prefers to pander to fears.
Oh, wow. We were told and lied to. So people who, and I voted for Justin Trudeau shamefully, and I'll never do it again. I know, but we were lied to, straight up lied to. He told us that wouldn't happen. So fool me once, right? Won't make that mistake again. So peoplespartyofcanada.ca, and thank you for watching, everybody. Have an excellent evening.